Hey, y'all, what's happening? Chinese here, also known as China L. Costin, actress and independent filmmaker. Happy Sunday. So, I wanted to just shout out a Black centered comedy feature film. It's titled Strictly Business. It was released in 1991. It was directed by Kevin Hooks. It was starring Halle Berry, Joseph C. Phillips, and Tommy Davidson and Samuel L. Jackson. Um, I really like this comedy. It's very endearing, and the movie, in some ways, indirectly promote group economics among Black people. Um, it has a love story in it. It has a man-to-man platonic friendship that is developed over time, and Black businesses, Black people working together to build a strong economic base. And I noticed that Strictly Business is seldom talked about. Like when people talk about, the golden era of the 90s for Black centered cinema movies, nobody, I don't want to say nobody, but people in my circle I talk to, or even when I see people talking about Black movies of the 90s, they never mention Strictly Business. I don't know if it's because of the comedy. Um, I don't know because it was Tommy Davidson. Tommy Davidson was in it from In Living Color, and Halle Berry. It was her first breakout role, I believe, in addition to Jungle Fever. But it was really her breakout role where she was like the love interest of the central character Joseph C. Phillips. Um, and Tommy Davidson played her friend. Um, I like that movie. I like that it promoted Black businesses. Um, Black executives and a Black woman who wanted to go into business, who was an artist, and a Black young man who wanted to elevate in corporate America in real estate, and a Black man who was a corporate executive, real estate executive who was also rising in corporate on the corporate ladder, and how they just worked together to realize all of their goals. I just I think it's a lovely. It's not profound, but profound is not always necessary. But it was like I think it's the only Black centered film whereby Black businesses were the resolve um, to the problem in the film. Like, and Black businesses really thrived in this movie. I gotta polish my nails, y'all. This is crazy. But yeah, so if you get a chance, if you're under 30, if you've never seen it, or if you're under 30, check out Strictly Business because it's very motivating. And LL Cool J was on soundtrack. Um, and yeah, I really liked it. I dig it. I used to watch it on repeat just to listen to like um, the principles of really representing yourself well as an employee, as an executive, being open to change, whether it be, they talked about presentation too, like your presentation communicates to the world who you are or what you want the world to think of you. For example, the Tommy Davidson character, like he was dressing in very kind of slovenly, and he was just like he was going to a party even though he was going to work. But then he got an attitude because the real estate executive was calling him out on it, and he was like, what am I supposed to dress? Like, wear Armani suits going to the mailroom? But it's like, no, dude, don't wear Armani suits going. You don't have to wear Armani suits, but if you're trying to elevate in corporate America, then you can't be coming to work like you going to a club and kicking it. And don't get an attitude. And if you're trying to elevate, also, you can't come up in this piece like tardy every day. You can't do that. But then on the opposite end, the real estate executive was trying to connect with a woman who Tommy knew he was a square dude. Like he had suits on, but the suits were absent of swag. and he had assimilated, and he hadn't like he was repressing anything that was cool about. He had like he was an upstanding dude, but he was square. He was kind of corny and goofy, and so they both influenced each other to elevate their games, or their games, whether it be like tap into more of his swag and his sense of style, and then be a little bit more relaxed in how he communicate with women and people. And then the Tommy Davidson character, he needed to elevate his style, his attire, and turn it up a notch and not be so casual. So and everybody grew from their interaction with each other. Like Halle Berry grew, and Joseph C. Joseph C. Phillips' character grew, connecting with Tommy. The only thing I didn't care about was that sometimes Joseph C. Phillips' character, who was a kind of stuffy, straight-laced real estate executive, like sometimes he was kind of dismissive of Tommy because he didn't go to an Ivy League college. He went to community college. But knowledge is knowledge, regardless of where you get it. Whether you're self-taught or whether you go to community college, as long as you absorb the knowledge, understand the knowledge, and can communicate it and use it, apply it, it doesn't matter the source of the knowledge. But he was kind of highfalutin, looking down on him somewhat, because he went to community college, but more so it was that, and because he wasn't punctual, and he didn't dress the part to communicate that I want to be elevated in this corporate environment. And I remember there was a scene where he was like, Tommy was like, you need to stop using basically slang. The Joseph C. character was like, stop using so much slang. He's like, what do you mean, sounding black? He's like, yeah. And it was like, look, slang is lovely, it's wonderful, but there's a time and a place for everything. You dress a certain way depending on the environment, right? And so don't get an attitude, because I'm telling you, you can't use, if you're, depending on who you're communicating with in corporate America, you don't use slang, right? If you're in the mailroom chilling and y'all just listening to music and you do whatever you do in the mailroom, then yes, you can do slang among your peers. So, and like sometimes the Tommy character, he was out of line too with how he was speaking to the black real estate executive. They both wanted something from each other. They both had something, possessed something that the other wanted. But if I felt like in the writing, the Joseph C. Phillips character, who was a real estate executive, he was apologizing when he would make mistakes or was like dismissive of Tommy's character, or would assume something wrong about him, or would he judgmental. He would apologize like straight away. Whereas Tommy Davidson character, sometimes he said things that were out of line to the black straight-laced executive, and he never apologized to him. Never. He was always like, oh, well, you shouldn't assume, black people shouldn't assume things. Like, Negro, you shouldn't assume things either about somebody who's straight-laced and educated. Like, you were assuming things too, and you were like saying things that were not cool either. And they never wrote for Tommy Davidson to ever apologize to Joseph C. Phillips' character when he said things that were not nice, you know what I'm saying, and like highly critical and judgmental of him. They never had him apologize. And I'm like, no, that Negro should have been apologizing to him too. One-way street, just because you're like poor and like trying to come up and he's an executive and highly educated, you think you shouldn't have to apologize to him for criticizing him? No, Negro, you need to apologize to him too. Both of y'all apologize for prejudging each other and dismissing each other or whatever. So that's my only criticism, really, is like, no, anyway, I hope y'all check out Strictly Business. Let me read what it says for those who have never seen it. It was released in 1992. So it says Strictly Business released in 1991. Fun-loving Bobby, who is played by Tommy Davidson, is a mail boy in a big real estate firm. He has a trump card, no pun intended. His best friend, Wayman, who is played by Joseph C. Phillips, the real estate executive, an African-American is almost, sorry, let me start over. Sorry about that, y'all. So it says here, Strictly Business is a comedy about a kid, Tommy Davidson, he's like 20, 21, 22, who goes from the mailroom to the boardroom by improving relations between a mover, who was Joseph C. Phillips' character as a real estate executive, and a shaker, who was Halle Berry. She's a dancer, so it's a shaker. It's very endearing, and give it a chance. It's really nice. And again, they promote Black businesses and working together economically as Black people. Y'all have a great Sunday night, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. My light is so, what happened? It's weird. Anyway, y'all, peace. Chinese.